What's up? My name is Casey, and this is the Oracle Podcast. And today, I have two amazing prophecies for you guys. My main prophecy for the day is a little recap of House of the Dragon Season 2, since it is coming out in just over a week.
Yeah, I think so.
A week from Sunday, so that's super exciting. So we're going to do a little recap of that, and then we are also going to do, I've got a fun little side quest that involves the World Cup going on right now. So we're going to roll right into that after we finish with our House of the Dragon Season 2 recap. How are you, Anna?
I'm good. How are you?
I am dandy. We've had some behind the scenes shenanigans go on today. So if we have a little different vibe today, that's why. It's been a whole thing. But we're here. We're talking about House of the Dragon, and it's always good.
I'm excited for it. I was just because my oldest, who's not old enough for Game of Thrones yet, keeps asking, so when do I get to watch this? When do I get to watch this? I'm like, so it's like I keep because she keeps seeing everything, and she's like, it looks really cool. I'm like, it is really cool. However,
yeah, they're blitzing the advertising right now.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Also, it's so bad.
It's my goodness. Okay.
All right. So last week I kind of did the bulk of the talking in the House of the Dragon recap. So Anna, what about this time if I let you kind of run us through the recap of House of the Dragon Season 2, and I can chime in here and there?
All right. So I remember Season 1 ended with the Middleist getting
the Middleist.
The Middleist getting offed by the other Middleist, right?
Yes. That
It's like
both second sons getting
the second sons, yes.
One doing the chomping, the other getting
yes. So where is everybody at this point? We've got Aegon is dead or almost dead.
Now, Aegon is on the throne. He just got proclaimed king.
Who am I thinking of? See, this is why I can't do all the talking. I have to just chime in when I remember stuff because I can't remember what's Season 1 and Season 2. So yes, Viserys, that's our this season's Joffrey, right? He's like the crazy oldest one.
Yeah. So
okay, right.
I'll just roll into it. Aegon is sitting on the Iron Throne. He holds the main seat of power. He's got Blackfire, which was Aegon the First sword. He's got Aegon's crown. He holds the capital. He holds a lot of the land of the realm. He is allied with, at this point, the Stormlands, the Lannisters, the
Highgardens? No. I think they come in Season 2. I could be.
Yeah. Old Town for sure, which is a vassal of Highgarden, and
plus whatever Alicent is from. I can't remember.
That's Old Town, so that's the High
Okay.
Towers. And then who else is kind of on their sides? They've got Stormland.
And the other one, the one who the brother of Rhaenyra's baby daddy.
Yeah.
What house is that?
That is so they control Harrenhal, the strong.
Okay. But I would say they're definitely aligned with the crown just because of what's his name's
right now,
entanglements with the queen. Yes.
And they had their house traditionally has a lot of money, but in the first episode of this, you kind of see Larys pulling behind the strings behind the scenes, and he says, "Oh yeah, I took all the money out of Harrenhal, just for reasons, and I moved it overseas
for reasons."
So, yeah.
In my offshore bank account.
In my literal offshore bank accounts. So Larys is.
But there's a twist because somebody smuggled out the true crown for Rhaenyra, right? So she has the crown and he has the throne, right?
Yes. So it's kind of this whole thing because it's kind of battling over who has these different symbols of power. Because Rhaenyra holds Dragonstone, and that's the ancestral seat of House Targaryen. That's where the heir traditionally used to live. That's where their family settled before they were the rulers of Westeros. When they were just one family from Valyria, they lived on Dragonstone, and they have this absolutely sweet castle that has a built-in dragon pit to it. It's built into an old volcano, so the dragons love to live there. It's really, really cool. Dragonstone is one of the coolest.
Well, dragon is in the name. I feel like it was very accessible to them.
Exactly. Well, she holds that. She also has Viserys's old crown, so her dad's crown. So she has that symbol of authority, and Aegon has different symbols of authority. And I think that it's really cool to see them kind of struggle over that and who holds what and who holds which. And this first episode is kind of dealing with the aftermath of what happened in the first episode of last season, because Rhaenyra basically is not in this episode at all. She kind of finds out about her son getting chomped like right at the end of last season, and so
And she's like dead to
she
everybody. She's done.
yeah, she leaves on Dragonback immediately and like goes and searches, and she ends up finding just a piece of his dragon's wing, but she doesn't even have a body to come back and to burn in their pyre. And there's this adorably sad, like tragic scene of one of the younger kids taking a little seahorse and putting it on the pyre because they're burning all of his things. And like, he was a seahorse in more than one ways, because he was in theory a Valerian, but also he was
Yeah.
set to inherit the Valerian seat. And so now like the once again the succession of the Valerian seat is up for question, because like, who knows what's going to happen there. And what happens in episode 2? Oh yeah, at the very end of episode 1, that like everyone's kind of just positioning themselves in episode 1. But at the very end of episode 1, Rhaenyra comes back and she is filled with fire and with blood, and she says, "I want Aemon Targaryen." Like,
Bring me the head
no
of
other way.
Aemon Targaryen.
No,
The
she doesn't even say the
usurper
head.
Aemon Targaryen.
She doesn't even say, "I want the head." She doesn't say anything. And the only line that she says in this whole episode is, "I want Aemon Targaryen." And so she leaves a lot of ambiguity to that. And that becomes really important in the next episode, because Daemon, he's up to no good. He puts on his no good hood, and who would
No
ever
good.
recognize it? It's a whole thing, because in the first season, when he goes to murder his wife,
He's just like, let me.
he puts on his hood. And so whenever you see Daemon Targaryen with a hood on, you know that no good is about to be done. And so he once again dons his no good hood, and he goes to, oh, you know what I forgot in episode, no, that's later in the season.
Right, it's really hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah. We're talking about,
Because a lot
like,
of what we see is happening at the same time, but we're
exactly,
seeing like what happens in episode 3 while it happened during episode 2. So like, but anyway.
Yeah, it's all complicated. So Daemon goes to King's Landing, and he hires these two guys who are known as Blood and Cheese.
Yes, that was the funniest like infiltration I think I'd ever seen. It's like
slapstick infiltration.
it reminded me of Home Alone when they're
Yeah,
staking out the house at the very beginning.
well,
But
it's like
and even when they get up there, they're like, oh, rats. Yeah.
rat. Well, the one guy, the Cheese, he's a rat catcher in the castle, and there are a bunch of rats that we're seeing in and around in the capital. And the rats are symbolic because they're meant to represent the rot at the heart of the kingdom and the corruption. And it started when Viserys, we saw a few rats in the first season, but now that Aegon is in charge, Aegon doesn't know how to rule. He doesn't know how to be a king.
Everything is falling apart and I love it because like I feel like, and I don't know if it's the way they shot stuff, but I feel like everything was like a really tight shot. Everything looked super ornate and very decadent in the background. And then as it gets more and more into season 2, the shots get wider. Everything gets very plain. Like it's an interesting development. I love seeing that like parallel what's going on in the story because like he's definitely not doing anything he's supposed to be doing.
No, there's some visual storytelling going on there. And another thing that I love is the model of Valyria. That's one thing that I didn't touch on in the last episode. But the model of Valyria is a symbol for how the Valerian legacy is seen. Because as Viserys got older and as he became more decrepit and senile, the model was all like covered in cobwebs and everything. And at the height of their power, when like they were all family and like no one was fighting, it was this big ornate thing, and like it was taking up most of the room in his room, and it was this huge big thing. And then now it's started to fall into disrepair. Pieces have started to fall off after he's died. So it's starting to show that the Valerian legacy is and legacy of Valyria is starting to fall apart as the Targaryen dynasty starts to fall apart. So that's really
Which
cool.
similarly mirrors his own physical state because he was looking
Yes,
like the Crypt Keeper towards the end.
he really was. We watched. My wife and I are doing like a full season or a full series rewatch, and we watched that episode again the other night. And just that I don't know if I touched on this enough in the last episode, but the last episode, or the second to last episode in that season, where he is alive and he like throws the whole party for everyone, and it's
Yeah.
this last moment of seeming like happiness for him that finally allows him to go and rest finally after years of uncertainty and strife. He thinks, okay, I have done this. I have set the legacy straight. I will be remembered as a good king. And so he is finally able to rest and go easily off into death in that last episode. And I think that's a really cool thing too.
Now, this is where I get confused because and again, this could have happened in season 2, but I feel like Rhaenyra disguises herself as a sister and comes in and she meets with Alicent and she also listens to her father's final words. And it's kind of like they both kind of misinterpret because what's her name? Alicent sees him like literally as he's taking his final breaths.
Yeah.
But what's her name? Rhaenyra had seen him like previous to that, and he had like started ranting about the prophecy. So like Alicent got like the end of it, and Rhaenyra got the beginning of it. But that happened at the end of season 1, right? That's not in season 2, right?
That was,
okay.
So that was in season 1, but then the nun thing happened,
and then like
in season 2.
See, there you go. Because I thought it was like they had just like gotten all chummy, and they were like, "Yes, we know what's going to happen." And then she finds out that her son killed her son, and then it's like, "Oh, well, there goes that agreement. That's in the toilet." But okay, so season 2, everybody. But this is where we're also seeing all the love interests cross because I think season 2, episode 2 is also where we find out where Rhaenyra's original bodyguard went. Right? He is like officially with the queen now.
Yeah, they're for sure banging now. And it's interesting that we see them coupling, as Otto Hightower would put it. We find that out this episode, and then this is the episode where Blood and Cheese sneak up into the prince's area and kill one of King Aegon's sons. And they make Helena the only good character in this whole show.
Poor Helena.
Helena is goated. She's the best character in this whole series.
Feel so bad for her.
She's the only one who I want to have a happy ending out of all these people.
But there's so many, like, she's my Marcella for this one, because I remember in Game of Thrones, I felt like Marcella got like the literal worst hand. That poor child got sent off to the Dorne and was gonna be like have this perfect, beautiful, happy life that she thought she was like, okay, everything's cool, and then
poison.
But like, right. And then, you've got, what's her name? She's got 2 kids with her brother, and then somebody offs one of them because they were twins, right? There was a boy and a girl.
Oh, yeah,
I thought it was.
Yeah. So they were,
and I don't remember which one. I don't remember. And I thought, I thought he called it off. Okay, so yeah, that's what it was. And then they're blaming it on Rhaenyra, and she's like, I didn't even know this was happening.
Yeah.
So, and then I think she gets mad at Daemon for.
I got sidetracked. So Daemon,
his no good hood got him in trouble.
Yes. And he walks up to Blood and Cheese and he's like, hey, I want you guys to kill Aemon Targaryen. And they're like, do you mean Aegon Targaryen or Aemon Targaryen, the rider of Visenya, and like one of the coolest anime villains this world has ever seen? And he's like, yes,
I'll do it for $1.
Yes, I do want you to kill him. And they're like, well, what if instead, hear me out, we killed a baby instead? And
I don't think I can catch him, but the kids.
I don't think that I'll be able to kill him. But hear me out. I'm just a rat catcher. But hear me out.
That whole episode, I was like, oh my God, they're not really gonna do this. And I was like, oh my God, they're really gonna do this.
So that was one of my biggest questions of like, were they going to lean into it and do the whole thing? Because like this is the thing in the books, it happens a little differently, and I might talk about that a little bit in a different episode because I don't want to get into it right here because it's the whole thing. But it happens a little.
I'm gonna have to read that one.
Yeah. Gurm is furious about the way that they changed this one naturally because he's furious about everything all the time. But anyway, we don't have time for any of this.
We should be more introspective, Georgie. Just saying.
Yes, agreed. So they're like, okay, well, we're obviously not gonna kill Aemon because he would murder us with his huge dragon. So we're gonna just off this baby instead. So they do that, and naturally, everyone in the kingdom is outraged by this, and they think that in retribution for killing her
baby
son,
for a baby, a child for a child, it makes perfect sense.
Because Daemon. They cut this line off, but Daemon is thought to have said a son for a son, and
yes.
and that's the name for this episode. And so they are, it's thematically an eye for an eye, trading off that whole sort of thing.
Which I think that was the name of the episode where what's his name loses an eye, and then the other one, because it was in retaliation to something else. Like he goaded him and then ended up getting stabbed.
Yeah, he called him a bastard, and yeah, so it was a whole thing.
Once you bring up my mama, then there be fighting words.
Exactly. Me too. Especially if that's on a Nerdy Mamas and they're calling you out for your correct laundry detergent taste.
But you know what? It wasn't even vitriol at me. It was people did like, it's so weird how people create these parasocial relationships with people online to the point where they're like, I don't like that person. I gotta tell you about it. And it's like, all right, I'm just talking about laundry.
I just had a laundry opinion. I didn't even.
Here's my washing machine. Let's talk about that.
That's so funny. Oh, the internet
Anyway,
is a wild place.
Back to the other drama.
Dragon drama.
Dragon drama.
Dragon drama. That would be a sweet alternate title for this show.
Did somebody say dragons? She pops her head in.
Me too. That's awesome.
My oldest. Yeah, she's obsessed.
Have you seen the thing that Brandon Lee Mulligan was like? He has a kitten, or I don't know if he's talking about a kid in some circumstance, and they're like, "Is that a dragon?" And he's like, "Yes, that is a dragon. If you want, I'll buy you 100 dragons." It's really funny. So the Targaryen house is split in twain even further. There is seemingly no retribution for this. So in one last, Aegon hatches a Kenny's scheme, and he says, "Hey, because there are these two Kingsguard guys who are identical twins, and this is in episode 3, and it is the best episode of this show by far. Not a lot happens until the very end of the episode, but it is one of the most like." I don't know. Everyone's finally saying what they think about each other. Like the beginning of this episode, like Otto yells at Aegon, and he's like, "Viserys he may have been like not as strong as some people, but he was judicious. He was like he thought about his actions. He at least
basically was like, you're a bit,
and you take no thought for your actions because Aegon, he's like, yes, it was one of the rat catchers who hung or who cut off my son's head. So let's have all the rat catchers hung from the walls of the.
And now the city is overrun with rats.
Yeah, now even more than ever, the city is overrun with rats. Which, funny aside, in the books, this is where the Red Keep famously in the time of Game of Thrones has a bunch of cats. Like it's overrun with cats later because Otto after Aegon kills all the rat catchers, he goes out and he buys like 1,000 cats and brings them to the Red Keep to try and deal with the rat problem. Ridiculous.
Which I feel like in and of itself is still symbolic. Like you said, the rats were symbolic of like the treachery within the capital.
Yeah. And so things are looking bad for the city of King's Landing because Rhaenyra has effectively, with the Valyrians' support, she has blockaded King's Landing. And now,
because she's got the Valyrians are basically they're like seafaring at this point, and they're going to block the harbor. They're right.
Yeah, and especially on this side of the continent, they're on the opposite side of the continent from like the Greyjoys, who the Starks and everyone have to deal with. They're on the whole other side of the continent.
They're in the north. The north.
Yes, and so they may become a problem at some point, but at this point, they're not involved in the issue.
Yeah, I think I've only ever even heard mention of the Starks. They haven't really talked too much about up yonder.
Flash back for just a second. The beginning of this season actually starts with the oldest son flying to a bunch of different places, and he flies to like the Vale, and he flies up to the north, and it talks about him and what's his name? Kragan Stark, the sweetest Stark ever. He was the coolest.
Doesn't he deters, and he's like, I'm not going to get involved in this, I think is what he said.
He says, hey, like, we've got a lot going on right now, but I'm going to send you like 100 of my old wolves, of my winter wolves. And the winter wolves is a cool idea that's from the books. And it's basically the idea of, okay, at the beginning of winter, all of these old people all these old men who don't think that they're going to make it through the winter, because winters are like years and years long in this world, they'll join the army so that their family will have more food for the winter time.
Oh,
So
very noble.
it's an incredibly like noble and sacrificial thing. So he's like, hey, I've got these old men who I'm gonna have to feed if they stay here, so I might as well send them down to you. But they have to. It's gonna take a long time for them to get there because he flew up there on
They're
a dragon.
walking.
And they're walking, and winter is starting, so it's going to take him a long time. And so he also has to negotiate with the Freys at some point during the season. It's a little later in the season because
Yeah, to allow them to cross down because they have to pass from the north to the south.
exactly. And so one of like a through point that doesn't even get talked about in the books, but they have to cross the Trident at some point, and so they go and he talks to the Freys and he negotiates that at some point someone will come and protect them. One of my biggest problems with this season is that it's like very packed heavy, and it was supposed to get 2 more episodes than it did. So like there's a lot of setup in the middle, but then no real conclusion to anything in this
The
season.
end is very much like where we're like everything's happening. You know what? It's I'm gonna get a little off topic for a second, but the Hobbit trilogy, I feel like that should have just been 2 movies because that second one like leaves like we're in the middle of a battle and we'll see you in a year and a half. So long, folks. And then you come back and it's like it just launches you kind of right into. So I'm assuming that's what's gonna happen with season 3 is we're gonna get like thrown into the middle of like whatever's going on. And I don't have like I need that like I love that drama tension buildup. Like I'm just gonna be like gonna have to watch like 7 recaps this week because I'm not gonna get to watch the end. Maybe I'll just watch like the last 3 episodes. Like get like
the last 3 episodes will do it. So back to this.
Back to episode 3.
Yeah, back to episode 3. Rhaenyra gets super mad at Daemon for doing the whole a son for a son thing, and so in classic Daemon fashion, instead of dealing with his problems like an adult, he flies to Harrenhal.
Run away.
Run away on my dragon because I don't want to talk. I want to have a cool fight. But instead of finding a cool fight, but instead of finding a cool fight at Harrenhal, he finds beans. He finds an old feckless man, and he's like, "Well, I'm sorry that Harrenhal is yours, my lord. We don't have any dragons, and I don't want to fight you because you're Daemon."
I love how confused he is the whole time. He's like, "You're like
my favorite character. He's the best."
He's just like roll. He woke up that morning and was not expecting any of that to happen, but he was just like, "Oh well." Yeah.
Well, would you like some of the beans? And Damon's like, well, it would be easy to poison a dragon rider with the beans. And he's like, okay, well, more beans for me. These beans are delicious, man. And so Daemon basically takes up residence at Harrenhal. What does Rhaenyra do in this meantime? Is this when I think this is?
She's mad. She's like she's straight up like she's not talking to anybody. She's blocked herself off. I think because she sent everybody on their little missions to get support, and then once she found out about Daemon, she like. I don't remember if she sent him away or if like he like was just like I'm not going to talk about this. Okay, because I remember them having like kind of like a face off, but not really like enough.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, she's. I think this is the part where like I was like I think King's Landing is going to like be on the up and up because this is like everybody is just mad. She's like isolated, like you said. Daemon's in Harrenhal doing God knows what with beans.
Well, he's not eating the beans at this point, but he is
not eating the beans.
And in the next episode, he will be eating something because something that I'll talk about here in a minute. But I think this is when Rhaenyra, in one last ditch effort, she disguises herself as a nun, sneaks into King's Landing.
So this is like I just thought it was so cool. I was like, yes, this is how you do it.
Sister act, sneaks into King's Landing. She knows that Alicent likes to go and pray, and so she's like, okay, I can talk to Alicent if we're in the church. So she sneaks in, and she's disguised herself as a nun. She sneaks in, and she like pokes Alicent while she's praying, and Alicent is like, it's the woman who had my grandson murdered, and Rhaenyra makes it worse by pulling out a knife, and she's like,
I will stab you.
Yeah, I didn't come here to stab you, but I will if I have to. So Alicent naturally is super spooked by this. So Rhaenyra's like, hey, what? Like, after all we've been through, how could you have usurped my throne from me? Like, you knew that's what my dad wanted. And she's like, well, no, not really. And she's like, yeah, like up until the day he died, like he reaffirmed my son's claim to Driftmark and all this stuff. So and she's like, well, in his dying breaths, he talked about Aegon's dream and the Song of Ice and Fire. And she's like, you dolts. She wasn't talking about Aegon Targaryen the second. She was talking about Aegon Targaryen the first, and I'm the one who she was talking, or who he thought he was talking to, you dolts. And he was clearly high on the milk of the poppy that you had just given him. And
Right,
on
that was
his
the other thing. They kept that man dope.
Yeah, because he was in great pain. He did have like an incredibly painful life, but also he was like addled out of his brain. So
Well, now I don't remember if they said this or if I'm just hearing what other people said, but I'm pretty sure like the whole Targaryen like nah 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 started with him. Like they weren't going crazy up until this point. Like this was like the beginning of like y'all are not right in the head.
nah, there was
Was it before?
it went bad after one generation.
Did it? Okay.
Aegon's first son was known as, or I don't know if it's his first son, but like right after, there was one named Meleys the Monstrous who got in a big fight with the Faith about a lot of stuff, and it was a whole thing. It's a whole thing, but
Another crusade.
it's been like that since the beginning. So
Madness on
madness,
madness.
yeah, maybe both. It's a little bit ambiguous this season because she does some sketchy stuff. So at this point, kind of nothing happens for like 3 episodes here in the middle. The Blackwoods and Brackens kind of have a battle. It's called the Battle of the Burning Mill. It's like the first actual battle of the Dance of Dragons, and it's not even between like the houses proper. It's this whole thing. Kristen Cole goes out and leads an army around, and he like starts gobbling up kingdoms or like little crown lands, houses, and castles, and putting people to the sword. And he eventually makes it up to Rook's Rest. I think that's where it is. I think it's Rook's Rest. And so finally, Rhaenyra decides, you know what? I can't go on my dragon because I'm the queen, and I can't send any of my heirs, but I do have this other sweet dragon, and the sweet rider in my goat, the queen who never was. It's Princess Rhaenys Targaryen.
Rhaenys. Okay. So
And
but yeah, she's badass.
she's the sweetest. She's actually the coolest. So Rhaenys flies out to Rook's Rest, and she's like, "All right, Crispin Cole, we're gonna make you Crispy Cole."
Crispy.
But unfortunately, you have activated Aemon's trap card because he has the biggest dragon in the land, and but unbeknownst to him, you have also unwittingly activated King Aegon's trap card because he heard that Rhaenys was flying out there, so he flew out there to fight Rhaenys, and in the fighting, he gets badly burned and wounded. So the king on the green side gets badly burned and wounded, but on the bright side for the greens, which is Aegon and Alicent and their whole side, Rhaenys gets absolutely murked, as does her dragon. So
Yeah.
the Greens lost a king and a dragon, people think, and the Blacks also lost a queen and a dragon. She's not literally the queen, but she is a queen. Slay.
Yes. And this puts what's his name as technically next in line for the throne.
Yeah, Aemon is technically in line for the throne because there's some like uncertainty about the inheritance situation. Technically, Aegon does have more sons, but they're like babies, so they're really it's dubious who the heir is at the moment. But everyone kind of assumes that it's Aemon because he has the biggest dragon and because he is an anime villain and all sorts of other things.
He is.
I mean, he's got one eye. He's
He
got the long
he looks
blonde hair.
he looks like
Yeah. So he is basically in charge now, and so Rhaenyra is like, man, this is not a good situation. The whole this has been going on. Daemon has been hanging out in Harrenhal, and there's this lady there, and her name is who's Alice Rivers. She's a cool Scottish witch who lives in Harrenhal in this cool like creepy haunted house, and she's been basically like concocting these pastes and stuff for Daemon and giving him these like psychic dreams because dreams.
He's tripping. He's at like Coachella right now. He's at Burning Man.
He's having weird sex dreams about his mom. He is seeing he's seeing a Millie Alcock version of Rhaenyra again, and she's asking him, would you kill me for my throne? And like, it's this really cool character study of Daemon Targaryen, and it would be really cool if it was in an action-packed season, but this season just in the middle of the season, it really just plods on. Like there's that one action piece in episode 5, but then up until episode like that there's really not another action set piece in the show after episode 5. Like nothing really happens until Rhaenyra says, well, I just lost a dragon and we've got these wild dragons around. So what if, hear me out, what if I get people to try and ride these dragons? And so she's like,
I loved it.
She's like scouring through the history books, and she's like, man, this one guy, he's a 176th Targaryen. Maybe he can ride a dragon. And to no one's shock, that does not work. He gets absolutely roasted by a dragon. But then, literally hours later, I don't know if it's like hours, I think it's like supposed to be days later, but this random guy shows up, and he's got blonde hair like the Valerians, and he shows up
like the last person you would expect. I was like, yes, can't be him.
He's literally a peasant, because we've kind of been following him and his brother as the season has gone by, and he is part of the small folk. He lives on one of the Valerian controlled islands, and his brother actually is a crew member on of Corlys Valerian's ship. So it's kind of tied in there, and it's hinted at through this season, but I think it's actually confirmed.
It's his. Oh no, it's definitely his. Because he even. Sons. It's yes, yeah. And they both. The oldest one, they know it, but he doesn't, or he doesn't acknowledge it, or something like that.
Yeah, they or maybe he would acknowledge it, but they don't want it. It's a whole thing. It's a whole messy thing. But they do have Targaryen blood, and so Rhaenyra is like, damn. Well, if this random peasant can ride a dragon, then why don't I go and get other peasants from King's Landing? And meanwhile, her son is like, hey, please don't give dragons to Targaryen bastards, because what am I? What am I other than a Targaryen bastard?
Crisis is so I don't know. I don't like to discredit people's because obviously it's not a real person, but I just thought it was so funny how he was because you can almost see him conflicting with coming to terms with the fact that, oh shit, I am a bastard, and that doesn't really make me anything special because all of these other bastards can ride dragons too. So it really doesn't make me any more worthy of being where I'm at. I'm literally just lucky enough to not have been unacknowledged, I guess, as a child.
Yeah. Well, he's like, hey, the only thing that is setting me apart from these other Targaryen bastards at this point is that I have a dragon and that I am legitimized, and technically I'm not even a legitimate
mommy didn't give me up.
Yeah, literally. And I was a product of a female Targaryen sleeping around instead of a male Targaryen sleeping around. But Rhaenyra's like, it's a whole thing. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Gender continues to be a big theme in the series.
From the very original throne dispute all the way through everything else.
Well, it's a thing from the very first scene in the show is them talking about, yeah, if Rhaenys, the lady who just died, was a man, she would have inherited the throne. She just would have. And but since she wasn't, it went to Viserys, and that's why this whole thing got started. So here we are, years later, and the issue of gender is still a big topic. And so Rhaenyra says, Luke or Jace or whichever one you are, I still can't remember which one got chomped by the dragon and which one is alive. I think it's Luke who's still alive. She's like, hey, I hear you're...
No, Lucerys is the one that got chomped.
Okay, Jace, your brother Luke, he got chomped. I don't care about him. And I also don't care about your emotions.
Why I had more than one.
Exactly. An heir and a spare.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's a real thing.
I believe it.
I play way too much Crusader Kings to not know about an heir and a spare.
Well, it's either that or you just keep offing your wife until they give you an heir, right? Henry VIII style.
Viserys Targaryen style.
Right.
Oh, take that.
That was such a traumatic first episode. I remember watching it and I'm like, we're just coming right out the gates at a level 10. You guys aren't even easing me into this.
No lube, no nothing. Anyway, back that.
Oh, yes. Okay. Anyway.
This is an explicit podcast for a reason for anyone who is listening for that exact reason. So I can make those kinds of jokes.
It's after 9 o'clock. It's okay.
It's after 9 o'clock. It's fine.
I don't remember when Adult Swim used to start. Maybe it was 10 o'clock. So we're almost there. We're almost at Adult Swim.
We're close. So Rhaenyra is like, hey, she sends these boats to King's Landing with food, and she's like, hey, food from your queen. And naturally,
Right, because
this
you
starts a
can't hate me
riot.
if you're fed.
Yeah, yeah. So she's
I
like,
thought that
hey,
was so good.
I've been stopping all the food from coming in because I don't want you to because I want you to be angry. But now I'm giving the food that I previously was stopping from coming through to you and from me. And also any of you with like blonde hair who like think that you might be a Targaryen, come hang out on my cool island resort.
Come to my getaway retreat.
Come,
We're having a family reunion.
we're having a family reunion. And so they have their
Join the
family
kickball
reunion,
team.
and there is some kicking that goes on. Basically, what happens is Rhaenyra. Well, first off, one scene that I think is one of the coolest scenes in the whole show is that the Targaryens have had this cult that has followed them from Valyria. They're the Dragon Keepers, and they were basically in charge of caretaking the dragons, and they're part of the reason why the dragons have bred and grown and continued to multiply like they have because they brought all of this old knowledge from Valyria.
They're
And
the
one of the
dragonologists. You need them.
they are the dragonologists. And Rhaenyra, she brings all these bastards to King's Landing or to Dragonstone, and she tries to get them to claim dragons. P.S. It doesn't go well for lots of them, but this makes the Dragon Keepers super mad because they believe that the Targaryens are closer to gods than men because they are able to ride these dragons. And so they do not view, they think that letting just anyone ride a dragon is blasphemy. So they leave. They're like, yeah, we're not being a part of this. And so that's one of the big theories as to why dragons eventually die out.
Well, they get smaller and smaller and smaller. And I remember in Game of Thrones, they talked about the war between Rhaenyra and her siblings, basically,
Yeah.
was when the deformities began, like they became smaller and smaller and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And this is one of the theories for why. Partially, it's also because a bunch of the dragons die. Like we've already seen 2 dragons die, and there's still a lot of war left to fight to go on. So we'll see what happens. But I would not count on all of your favorite dragons making it through the rest of the war. So Rhaenyra basically offers up all of these peasants as a sacrifice to the dragons, and it's like, hey, here are all of these people, and out of this carnage, it basically turns into a big blood sacrifice for the dragons, and they eat
all but one, right?
All but two
Two.
dragons find riders. What's his name? Vermithor, who is known as the Bronze Fury, claims Hugh Hammer as his rider. He was a blacksmith who was formerly working on the defenses of King's Landing. And another one is Alf the White.
Is he the kind of goofy one?
Yeah, he's the goofy one.
Oh.
And so he claims Silverwing, who was the Jaehaerys, who is like known as like the last good Targaryen king. It was his wife's dragon.
It's like an older dragon. It's not even like a younger dragon. It's like one of the oldest ones.
And pretty big in her own right. So the two of the largest dragons get claimed at this point. And so Rhaenyra has just gained 2 like incredibly powerful assets, and is in theory
with people that have zero trust. I was like watching this and I'm like, this is like the stupidest thing that you could have possibly done. Like you didn't even think to like just give him a dragon. Just give him a dragon.
Just give randos off the street the power to unleash nuclear hellfire onto helpless citizens. How could that ever go wrong? And to be fair, we haven't seen it go wrong yet.
You're a disenfranchised bastard with a questionable background. Would you care to partake in the biggest family secret of all time? No holds bars.
Would you care to have the most powerful magic in the entire realm? And so this probably isn't going to go well for Rhaenyra, but she doesn't really care as long as she wins this dynastic dispute. And so she recruits these people who have no loyalty to her house. And she says, hey, as long as you're loyal to me, I'll make you lords of the realm, and I'll do this whole thing, and it'll be sweet. And basically nothing else happens. Like no more major events happen for the rest of the season. This is kind of where we're left at the end of the season. Allison sneaks over
I was
to
gonna
her.
say that was what Allison. She comes over and she's like, "Hey, man, I know shit's real crazy, but we're family, and I think we should just forgive each other and like save me and my children, please." Which I
And
thought was like an interesting
yeah,
move because I don't know
it
if I
is.
trust it.
No, I don't trust it either.
And
And
Rhaenyra's like, "Yes, of course, come into my home," and I'm like,
well,
"Lady."
she also says, "Hey, like we can be friends again, but for one, I'm exiling you and your children, except for Aegon, whose head I'm going to cut off, and I'm going to mount it on top of the Red Keep because yeah,
But okay, so I think it's really interesting because I feel like this Rhaenyra is in like her yes phase where she's just like, yes, I'll give random people a dragon. Yes, I'll, believe that you're going to relinquish the throne to me, all of these things. And like obviously we don't know what's gonna happen in season 3, but I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna like fuck her over and then it's just gonna like just this is gonna be like the snap between, like what happened with Daenerys, where like we had a plan, we knew what we were supposed to do, and you did not do what you were supposed to do. You just decided to burn the whole town down, and now we've got a genocide on our hands. So good job.
I've read the books, so I'm not going to make any comments.
Oh, okay, so maybe I'm just completely wrong, but I'm just like
I'm not
too
gonna
too many people have been brought in to very sensitive information, I feel, without a lot of background vetting. It does not make
for
me
sure,
comfortable.
and with no incentives to stay loyal to her. Like why would they
Right. It's just
not?
I gave you a dragon. I might give you some land, but I mean,
Maybe,
if
but
you
why wouldn't
gave
you
me a
just go to war?
dragon and then didn't give me land, I would just use my dragon to take the
Get the land,
land.
because it's all about the right to rule. It's all about what power
It's
is.
not about the right to rule. It's about the power to seize the means to rule.
Well,
Because if you talk about the right to rule, are we talking about proper succession or are we talking about, the might to
that's the whole.
strategically, do whatever? Which
Well,
I
that's the
think
whole
like
thing that is Varys's whole thing, and Robert Baratheon's whole thing, because his whole right to rule, like he spoke about old blood ties with the Targaryens, which is Rhaenys Targaryen actually, but he talks about old blood ties and that sort of thing. But he doesn't care about that. He just conquered the kingdom. Like he
well, it's like
and
that whole winner's right, the history kind of a thing. It doesn't, at the end of the day, whoever won kind of a thing. But if you think
exactly.
about it, Robert Baratheon's rule essentially was tainted by this whole underlying conspiracy with what's his name and Lyanna Stark. But
Oh yeah,
Viserys, his reign is tainted from the moment he doesn't stand up for his niece and be like, yeah, actually, she is supposed to be the one to inherit because the whole thing with her inheriting was that at the time it didn't specify that the heir could be a man or a woman, even though it also didn't not specify. So it was kind of like, well, because it doesn't say that you can be a girl, you can't play with us, like that kind of a thing. It's a Game Boy, not a game girl. That's kind of like how I saw it. And then like from that moment on, I was like, karma is going to come for this man in the weirdest fucking way. And I feel like he knew because it was like his guilt of what he did to her kind of ate at him and like turned him into the crypt keeper that he was by the end of season 1.
well,
Like
he was not
Alicent
like
is supposed to be this like no, Alicent is supposed to be like this virtuous, like very pious person, and I would say she's probably one of the top contenders for horrible people in the show. I feel like Rhaenyra, like for all of the mistakes that she made, she's like the least like I don't think a lot of her decisions were made out of pure like self-interest. They were always made out of like either like obviously sleeping with your bodyguard was a bad idea, but like all of the other things were not done to like spite anybody. They were just kind of
no.
done to like
She just
help her
wanted to
fill
live
the
her
role that she was supposed. She needed heirs.
yeah.
She had a husband that couldn't give her heirs, so she still had to like find a way to do these things. But like poor Alicent, like from the very beginning, she was kind of used as a pawn by her father because her father wanted status and power for the family.
She was used as a pawn by her father. She was used as a broodmare by Viserys. She was used as a symbol for House Hightower. She was used by Rhaenyra to get closer to her father again. She was used and used and used. And finally, at Rhaenyra's wedding, she said, no, screw all of you guys. I'm wearing a green dress to this wedding that is supposed to be red and black, like red and black attire, and I'm claiming no
Right, for the theme.
because I am declaring war on House Targaryen. The Hightowers are calling their banners to aid. That was one of the coolest scenes. Oh my Lanta.
Yes. But I feel like at the end of the day, you have Rhaenyra and you have Alicent. Both are being used by the people around them. And so not exactly the same situations, but like people that are faced with similar choices. And you can see how one chose to go the route of, well, if everybody else is going to be selfish, I'm going to be selfish too. And Rhaenyra went the route of everybody else around me is selfish and I need to hold this shit together because that's what I'm supposed to do. Like that duty of a ruler. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody wants to be a ruler, but like if you really truly understand that like what your responsibility is, it's not to lord over people. It's to keep as many people alive in your kingdom. Because if everybody's dead, what are you the ruler of,
You're the. Do you want to be the Queen of Ashes?
Queen of Ashes, right? And that's exactly the conflict in the end of Game of Thrones.
Well, and that's the conflict in this, because she's like, hey, I have the power. Like, especially after they claim those dragons, she's like, I have the power. I could go and we could probably beat Vhagar, and I could burn King's Landing to the ground. And I could say, screw the High Tower, screw everyone else. We will burn this kingdom to the ground, but I don't want to. I want to end this diplomatically, and that is going to involve some bloodshed, but that's not going to involve full-blown dragon warfare that will destroy kingdoms.
Everybody.
Yeah, it's a excellent, like, it's a great parallel for like the Cold War and nuclear warfare in our time, because
I was just gonna say they didn't have nukes; they had dragons.
They had dragons. And
dragon nukes.
They might as I think that they're a strong comparison to nukes.
Well, when they talk about dragon fire and how it doesn't just like burn you, it like eviscerates you, like there's nothing left. And to burn something so much that even the ash is burned, like that's crazy.
It's crazy. Oh yeah, so I meant to talk about Daemon. So his whole story, while this is all going on, Daemon has.
Oh yeah, he's at Woodstock.
Yes, he's at Woodstock. He is doing ayahuasca and in the creepy cave, and
he drank the cactus juice.
He did drink the cactus juice. Whoa.
The quenchiest.
The quenchiest. It was in fact the quenchiest. It may have contained some human blood, some werewood paste, because that's the whole thing in the Game of Thrones book. Well, like you've read like the full Game of Thrones series, right?
I've read 5 Game of Thrones books because somebody hasn't finished the whole thing. So no, I haven't read the whole thing, but I read what's available. But I didn't read whatever lore this House of the Dragons comes from. I just read the original. Well, is it 5 or 6 books that we got? I can't remember.
I can't remember. But you know how when Bran is in the cave with the
guy with the
the guy.
Yes.
The thread, right?
The old guy. I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about. And something with his hands, right? Was it Cold Hands? No, not Cold Hands. It's the guy in the tree.
Cold Hands is the one who brings him there.
Brought him to the tree.
Yeah. So they feed him a paste, and it's a red paste.
Yes.
And they say that it's werewood paste, but we don't see Jojen Reed at any point after this. And so it is an incredibly popular fan theory, and this is kind of thematic with the Game of Thrones book, that Jojen was ground up into that paste, and that in order to awaken your third eye and to become powerfully psychic and powerfully magically active, you have to consume
blood sacrifice.
Yeah. And so there's a big theory that Daemon also consumed some human flesh in this, because the werewoods are like super creepy, and he's sleeping in a werewood bed, and that's probably what's causing part of his crazy visions and dreams that he's having. And so in his hallucinating state, he basically puts the Brackens and the Blackwoods in another fight, and they go to war again. And a funny thing about this time period in the Riverlands is that the Tullys, that's Catelyn's family from Game of Thrones, they are all named after Muppets. So there's like Grover, Elmo, and like all of the Tullys in this time.
Poor Georgie, he's like, I ran out of names. What should I use? Elmo, let's go. All right.
But Sesame Street is on in the corner, so Grover Tully.
He was stimulating his brain, He had to get them creative juices.
I have to send that to the publishers. I'm almost
finished. It was a filler. The editor
I'm
didn't notice.
Almost finished with Winds of Winter. I should have finished that any day now if I just keep typing away. But I have to get a book out now, so I guess I'll just send them this. Surely they'll change the names of the Muppets that I put in for characters.
I'm convinced that's why George R. Martin does not. I don't know for sure that he doesn't like Brandon Sanderson, but anytime I've seen them on a panel together, the girls be catty all the time. So funny because that man will literally like. Not only do we know, I can plan out the next 10 years of my life based on what Brandon is putting out. Like I know in 5 years I'm gonna get to restart the Stormlight Archives. I know that like the Nightbloods, whatever is coming out in like another year.
Ghostbloods is coming out
next
year at Dragonsteel, and I'm going to try
right.
to go to Dragonsteel.
But also, based on his track record, I also am going to be totally not surprised if he's just like, oh, while I was doing this, I wrote 6 more novels with my big toe. You know,
I was typing it. I don't have a.
I was signing this book, and then all of a sudden my hand slipped, and I wrote a whole other book.
And I wrote a 1,000-page novella about with the sweetest magic
I fell asleep at my computer, and when I woke up, it was there.
And there was a novella with the sweetest magic system that you've ever heard of in your entire life.
I have to send it to you. I saw an anime. I think it's called something like of the Magic Hat, but whoever made it had to have like read the Cosmere because there was like a span read thing going on, and the magic system definitely feels very close to like what's going on in Stormlight, where it's kind of like the whole shard, like only certain people can. I honestly, I literally just saw it and I was like, I gotta send that to Casey. I'll look it up again. The animation looks really, and that's the thing for me is sometimes if I don't like the animation of an anime, I'll just keep scrolling. Like, I don't want to watch it. He's got like a trench coat and like white hair, and he was doing this thing, but there was a span read in the first scene. I was like, that's what that is. And everybody in the comments was like, did he read the Cosmere? And so I'll find it and I'll send it to you. It's like either coming out. It's either coming out soon or it just came out. It's very new. Yes, that's it. My audio, your audio, and my audio, like you're like a couple seconds behind.
Yeah, sorry, man.
Something. I knew, I saw it. Yeah, but
yeah,
it looks really cool.
Okay, so back to Daemon Targaryen. We're gonna finish this at some point. These recaps take just way too long because way too much happens in the season, but also like nothing happens in the season. So Daemon's been doing drugs, and he's basically set the Riverlands on fire because he has caused these 2 houses to go to war. So Grover Tully comes to his house, and is it Grover? I think it's Grover. Anyway, I'm sure that it's one of the Tullys. Correct me in the comments.
Grover or Elmo, we're not sure.
It might be Elmo. It might be Grover. It might be Kermit.
Big Bird.
Big Bird. It's probably not Miss Piggy. So one of the back to it. I'm sorry. I just started thinking about how they.
Okay, so if you had a Muppets remake of House of the Dragons, what character? What is the one real actor that you would have playing alongside the Muppets?
But Miss Piggy is going to have to be Rhaenyra, right?
I don't know. I feel like she could be Alicent. She's got that like.
She could be Alicent for sure.
Who's the one that's in the band? Who's always just like, yeah, man. She's got blonde hair. She could do it.
She could do it. No, I think that you need to have the people who play the Tullys, the Muppets who play the Tullys, or like the people who play the Tullys be the only human actors. So like, there's this guy named Grover Tully, and he's the only human actor in the cast of Muppets.
He's just like, what is going on?
My name's Grover, but your name's Grover.
Love a good Muppets remake.
We love a good Muppets remake. I love how our brains were on the same track there, because I was just about to make a Muppets remake joke about it.
We're gonna have to do a fan cast for that later.
We will. We'll do that at some point. But Daemon basically has to answer for all of his crimes in the Riverlands. He's basically encouraged war crimes to be committed against the One House, and
you've committed war crimes. You've committed genocide.
So, and the Lord of the Riverlands, who gives this sweet speech at the end of season 2. He's like, "Hey, you've done a lot of crap to our kingdom, but I can't punish you. So I'm gonna make you cut off the head of your friend here who's been doing all your war crimes in your name." And so he in this like very prevalent scene, he cuts off the head of this guy. And I want to talk about this because I don't think this was meant. So he ends up through his character growth and through all these visions, he ends up going through this kind of character arc, and he eventually, at the end of the season, re-swears his loyalty to Rhaenyra, and he...
It's like a baptism, you know?
Yeah.
He goes through this thing, he sacrifices somebody else to like pay for his sins, and now he can like be alleviated of his guilt.
And he has rallied this whole Riverlands army to Rhaenyra's cause.
I know I killed that baby, but here, I brought you an army.
I brought you an army. I hope it makes up for it.
Please forgive me. Let me come home.
And honestly, I don't know. It's up there. Top 5 scene in the whole show is in the very place where Rhaenys was robbed of her inheritance because she was a woman. Daemon swears his allegiance and swears the loyalty of this army to Rhaenyra in the very same place. I think that is such a thematically powerful way to end the season, because, and I know that it wasn't technically meant to be the end of the season. They were supposed to get 2 more episodes.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's only 8 episodes in season 2, right? Which is probably why we were stopped in the middle of chaos. Like, yes. there was no resolutions.
No. Well, it wasn't meant to be the end of the season. So when you're watching the first 2 episodes of season 3, keep in mind that these were meant to be the last.
It's probably the end.
Yeah.
Is there did something happen? Like, why did that end up not making it into the end of season 2?
It's the whole reason why Warner Brothers got acquired is the budget cut. They ran out of money, basically.
Man, the WB. End of an era.
Yeah, R.I.P. So that's where we're left off. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been the Oracle Podcast. Anna had to leave unexpectedly there at the end of the video, so I'm going to plug her stuff really quick. Be sure to check her out at Anna Nerdy Mamas on TikTok and on Instagram, and be sure to check out nerdymamas.com. She has an awesome line of cloth diapers and other nerdy content there as well. And be sure to check us out at Instagram, on YouTube, anywhere pods are cast, all at the Oracle Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. My name is Casey. This is the Oracle Podcast. I've been your Oracle, and that has been your prophecy.